Hey everybody, I have a Cleanspark update for you. We're going to go into this recent news that just dropped today regarding their current Exahash. And we're also going to go into a few things that have changed, and we'll take a look at the chart here. So if you like these Cleanspark updates, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Consider checking out the links down below for some free stocks and cryptos. Consider joining my membership if you want to support me. It's only $2 a month. And let's take a look at this recent Cleanspark news. Now I'll leave Cleanspark's investor relation page down below for you so you can find this yourself. But we do have news that they reached a new hash rate high of 8.5 exahash. And this was just announced as its Washington and Dalton, Georgia sites continue to come fully online. And Zach Bradford, the CEO, says, "We have nearly tripled our hash rate in just a year. Last year at this time, our operational hash rate was 2.9 exahash per second, and today it comes in at over 8.5. Our owned and operated approach to mining has been essential to making the growth possible. What's more, as we've grown our hash rate, we've also made meaningful improvements to our efficiency, which means we're capable of mining more Bitcoin with less energy. As of today, our current fleet-wide efficiency sits at 29.2 joules per terahash." And in this update, they also mention earnings coming up. And their fiscal third quarter 2023 results via a live webcast begins at 4:30 and is going to be on Wednesday, August 9th. And I actually want to mention something here regarding earnings. There has been a change apparently. If you watched my previous video, you'll know that their revenue target was right around $50 million. Well, let's look at what has changed here. Remember, it was a $50 million target. Now the revenue estimate is $45.696 million. Well, looking at their monthly mining updates revolving around that quarter, April, May, and June. In April, they saw 11.8 million. In June, they saw 11.2 million, and in May, they saw 12.9 million. And when you do the math on that, that sits them right around 36 million, or more specifically, 35.9 million. So this is what I expect the revenue to be for Cleanspark, which would still be a miss compared to the estimate. And I still do see a buying opportunity circulating around earnings. One thing though to be aware of is July's mining update should be pretty huge. They've recently increased their hash rate, as you saw, by quite a lot. Compared to previous months, the July update should be quite impressive when you look at their mining growth compared to month over month. Difficulties have gone up for Bitcoin mining, and some other miners have even experienced problems with high temperatures, causing miners to mine less coin. Specifically miners with facilities around Texas. Very high heat. This was actually something that I mentioned when I went over Riot, that they weren't operating at full efficiency. They did have to keep some machines offline to keep temperatures at a proper level in the facilities. Now, this wasn't necessarily a problem that Cleanspark had, but we have noticed a huge increase in mining difficulty. And when you compare May, we've seen a decrease in Bitcoin mined for some of these companies. I do expect July, even if we do see an increase in Bitcoin mining difficulty, July should be a really good update. So we may see a little bit of hype in the beginning of August. This is when the July mining update will come out, somewhere around August 5. And this is right before earnings. So we may see a rally coming up to earnings, and maybe we get let down with earnings because of the revenue miss. However, the market might disregard a miss in revenue. So don't bet on a pullback coming around on earnings, but I am watching out for one, and I will take advantage if we do see a pullback after Cleanspark reports earnings. Now, going back to the chart, we have this long-standing ascending channel that we did recently break out of, and I want to show you this channel because the market has reacted to it. All the way back in September of 2022, we started seeing a sell-off. We didn't hold support here. We broke the beginning start of this channel, and I'd say why there was an accelerated sell-off wasn't the break of this beginning of a channel, because this wasn't even anything yet. There's nothing to go off of back here. This is the start of it though. The break of this support is what started the resistance of this channel. We fell down a bit, found resistance at the 50 MA, which also looks like resistance on this channel. We finally broke out of the 50 MA and found resistance at the 200 MA, pulled back and found support here, which is the beginning of the support line on this channel, which also lines up with the 200 MA that has been ascending. And as I've said before, this chart is very bullish. We have ascending trend lines, and we are above them. Now, we did have a very strong resistance at this 520 level, and once we broke out of that, the market clearly reacted to it. So one thing I am watching for is if we do pull back into this channel, I am watching this 520 to see how it holds up. And if we get to 520, I'll likely be going in on some calls, not covered calls, but actually buying calls. But for now, we're in the 630s, and I am watching for the top of this channel to see if there's a reaction there, see if we bounce on the resistance of this channel, which may flip as support. and that would be right around $6, and it also happens to be a psychological level. But the good thing here with Cleanspark is the RSI has cooled down quite a lot. Looking at the 4 hour, the RSI is quite neutral now. On the 1 hour, same thing, and it has cooled off quite a bit from being so overbought. So I wouldn't be surprised from here to start seeing it run again, and if we do start running, 750 will be a level to watch out for. If we can break 750, we're likely to start testing 8. But I do believe there will be a lot of volatility. We of course have the Fed meeting coming up, and we do have Cleanspark's earnings and their next mining update. And while I do expect good things from their mining update, I could definitely see a rally here. It may be short-lived as we approach August 9's earnings. It's still very likely that they're going to miss revenue, and going over their previous earnings, we might even see a decrease quarter over quarter in revenue, which we haven't seen for a while. We've actually been seeing growing revenue since the beginning of this year. The good thing is we will likely see a year-over-year increase on revenue, so that's definitely a good sign, but we may see, like I said, a quarter-over-quarter decrease in revenue, which could stoke a little bit of fear in Wall Street. Now I do believe at the very least, in quarters moving forwards, we will continue to see year-over-year revenue growth, and we will get back to quarter-over-quarter revenue growth as Bitcoin goes higher in price and as Cleanspark continues to add to their hash rate. Long story short, I do see August as a great opportunity to buy some Cleanspark after earnings comes out. I could of course be wrong, and there could be some huge announcements on earnings, some huge things being said in the Q&A, and that could keep it from dropping much. But I'm keeping some money on the side regardless and staying ready for Cleanspark if we do get a drop on earnings in August. But let me know, guys, what your strategy is coming up to earnings for Cleanspark. Are you just going to continue to buy and hold and take advantage of the dips along the way? Are you planning something with options like covered calls or cash secured puts? I still have my $10 strike covered calls, and I expect those not to hit, so I do expect to collect that premium and for that contract to expire worthless. I could always be wrong. We could see a rally and I might get forced to sell my shares, and it depends on the circumstance, but I might likely roll that into a $12.50 covered call. But where I stand, I still think $10 covered calls are a pretty safe bet, expiring in August. Going any farther out, and I think it's very likely that they will get called. So once this one expires, hopefully worthless for me, I'll be able to go into a $12.50 and keep rolling it out as Bitcoin goes up in price and as Cleanspark keeps running. I do like taking advantage of covered calls when stocks become overbought, and I like taking advantage of cash secured puts when stocks become oversold. But let me know what your strategy is for Cleanspark. Get ready for the Fed meeting. There's definitely going to be a lot of volatility, and let me know if there's any other miners you want me to cover in future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.